Okay, we'll call the meeting to order. We respectfully acknowledge that the Township of Algonquin Highlands is located on Treaty 20 Mississauga territory and in the traditional territory of the Mississauga and Chippewa Nations, collectively known as the Williams Treaties First Nations. We also acknowledge a historical shared presence of other Indigenous nations throughout the area, and we recognize these original inhabitants as the stewards of its lands and waters since time immemorial. Could I have a mover and a seconder to adopt the agenda? And you guys are it for movers and seconders for today, Fergus and, Member McLaren and Member Richards.
Moved by Fergus McLaren, seconded by Sabrina Richards. Be it resolved that the Committee of Adjustment hereby approves as circulated the meeting agenda of November 1st, 2024.
All in favor? That's carried. And could I have a mover and a seconder to adopt the minutes of September the 6th? Member McLaren, Member Richards.
Moved by Fergus McLaren, seconded by Sabrina Richards. Be it resolved that the Committee of Adjustment hereby approves as circulated the meeting minutes of September 6th, 2024.
All in favor? That's carried. Is there any notice of pecuniary interest or general nature thereof? Hearing none, we'll move on to new business, and the first application is by Carlin on Halls Lake Road.
This property is located at 1226 Halls Lake Road on Halls Lake. The lands are zoned Shoreline Residential 1 and designated waterfront in the official plan. The property is approximately 0.61 acres in area with 31 meters of frontage on Halls Lake. Surrounding uses are generally shoreline residential, and the lands are currently developed with a dwelling, a shed, and a dock. The applicants are proposing to demolish the existing 788 square foot dwelling and construct a new 816 square foot dwelling in the same general footprint. The applicant does also own property on the opposite side of Halls Lake Road. These two properties are subject to a merger agreement, which does join them for purposes under the Planning Act. Existing site infrastructure, including the driveway, along with an irregular shoreline and lot depth features, restrict the available building location for the proposed dwelling that would comply with the zoning bylaw requirements. The proposed new dwelling will require the following minor variances. One, from section 4.14.91 to increase the maximum gross floor area permitted from 0% to 3.5%. And from table 2 of the zoning bylaw to reduce the minimum setback from a rear lot line from 12 meters to 0.66 meters for the proposed dwelling. Notice the application was posted on the property, posted on the township website, and circulated to property owners within 60 meters of the subject lands. No objections have been received. The county did provide some comments, which I'll read for the committee. They're generally in support of the proposal, and they mentioned, in accordance with the shoreline preservation bylaw, county staff encourage the owner to utilize best practices to protect any existing trees, vegetation on site during the demolition and construction phases, including the use of silt fencing and other mitigation measures to prevent runoff and siltation of the shoreline area. County staff also encourage the owner to replace any vegetation or tree cover removed during construction to reestablish as much of the shoreline area as possible back to a natural state. Staff are recommending approval of the proposed minor variance with the following conditions. One, confirmation being provided from an Ontario land surveyor that the proposed dwelling is not located closer than 5.6 meters from the high water mark and 0.66 meters from the rear lot line prior to any clearing, site alteration, or the issuance of a building permit. Two, that any on-site sewage system permits and reviews required by the township have been obtained and approved prior to the issuance of a building permit. And three, that appropriate construction mitigation measures be implemented, including the erection and maintenance of silt fencing between the proposed building and the shoreline.
Any questions for Sean? Hearing none, I think we have a couple of folks here who wanted to speak to the application. Mr. Carlin.
Can you hear me?
Good afternoon.
Yes, good afternoon. Thank you. No, I have nothing to add. I was just here as to oversee, to listen. I think Ben, if Ben has anything to add, but I don't, based on what I've just heard in this meeting, there's nothing further I can add to it.
Okay, Mr. DiCarlo.
Hi, good afternoon. Same, I don't really have anything further to add to it, other than obviously we're just trying to rebuild an existing cottage, very modest increase, and try to fit it all in this small area. So obviously here to answer any questions if there are any.
Do members of the committee have any questions for either Mr. Carlin or DiCarlo? The only question that I would have actually is for you, Sean. I just wonder what restrictions a merger agreement on the two parcels would have on the ability to develop further.
So the purpose of the merger agreement was to essentially join the two lots, so they couldn't construct a dwelling on both parcels of land. They're just considered to be one, even though there is the road running between, which in essence would make them separately conveyable parcels of land. But the merger agreement null and voids that, so it's just treated as one parcel.
What about our recent change to the zoning bylaw allowing up to 3 units on a property? Would they be able to do some construction with respect to that?
Not in this particular case, because the property is zoned shoreline residential 1, which only allows the one dwelling unit.
So they might be able to build a garage?
Yes, yeah, they would have the ability to build a garage. I believe the septic system is located on the other side of the road as well.
Correct.
Okay. If there are no further questions, could I have a mover and a seconder to approve the application? Member McLaren, Member Richards. So there is a 20-day appeal period, gentlemen, so no construction until that time is over.
Moved by Fergus McLaren, seconded by Sabrina Richards. Be it resolved, the Committee of Adjustment hereby grants minor variance application HMV 1524 to seek relief from section 4.14.91 of the zoning bylaw to increase the maximum gross floor area permitted from 0% to 3.5%. And from table 2 of the zoning bylaw to reduce the minimum setback from the rear lot line from 12 meters to 0.66 meters for the purpose of constructing an 816 square foot dwelling. Conditional on confirmation being provided from an Ontario land surveyor that the proposed dwelling is not located closer than 5.6 meters from the high water mark and 0.66 meters from the rear lot line prior to any clearing, site alteration, or the issuance of a building permit. 2, that any on-site sewage system permits and reviews required by the township have been obtained and approved prior to the issuance of a building permit. And 3, that appropriate construction mitigation measures be implemented, including the erection and maintenance of silt fencing between the proposed building and the shoreline.
All in favor? That's carried. Thank you, gentlemen.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
The next application is by Kennedy on Boshkong Lake.
This property is located at 1072 Lowry Lane on Boshkong Lake. The lands are zoned shoreline residential 2 and designated waterfront under the official plan. This property was also subject to minor variance application HMV 00724 for the same relief being requested today. The application was approved. However, the condition requiring an OLS confirmation revealed the building was actually slightly closer than what was originally proposed. So that's why this application's before you today. So this property is approximately 0.38 acres in area with 33 meters of frontage on Boshkong Lake. Surrounding uses are generally shoreline residential, and the lands are currently developed with a dwelling, a shed, and a dock. The applicant is proposing to construct a 1,044.29 square foot addition on the rear of the existing dwelling. Existing site infrastructure, including the driveway and septic system, along with an irregular shoreline, and the current location of the legal non-complying dwelling do restrict the available building locations for a proposed addition that would comply with the zoning bylaw. The following relief is being requested. One, from section 4.14.95 of the zoning bylaw to increase the maximum gross floor area permitted from 60% to 111%. And from table 2 of the zoning bylaw to reduce the minimum setback from the southerly interior side lot line from 3 meters to 2.5 meters for the purpose of the proposed addition. Notice of the application was posted on the property, posted on the township website, and circulated to property owners within 60 meters of the subject lands, as well as to the Boschung Lake Property Owners Association. No objections have been received. A letter of support was received from the adjacent landowners that the proposed addition would be encroaching towards. And staff are recommending approval of the proposed minor variance with the following conditions. Confirmation being provided from an Ontario land surveyor that the proposed dwelling is not located closer than 23.5 meters from the high water mark and 2.5 meters from the interior side lot line prior to any clearing, site alteration, or the issuance of a building permit. 2, that any on-site sewage system permits and reviews required by the township have been obtained and approved prior to the issuance of a building permit. And 3, that appropriate construction mitigation measures be implemented, which shall include the erection and maintenance of silt fencing between the proposed building and the shoreline.
Any questions for Sean? Mr. Kennedy, did you wish?
Oh. Hi, as Sean mentioned, I was here earlier in the year. I really don't have anything to add. It's pretty much the same as. Oh, there I am. Okay.
That's
it's
just
the
so
same-
the
it's-
world can see you as well.
Yeah, it's the same application. It's the number that we're measuring to from the, like where it's located. But, Sean, when I was listening, the setback that I got in a letter, like I hired the, OLS,
Mhm.
they gave me a letter, and I believe I emailed you a copy of the new letter. Should have brought that with me, but anyways, I thought I heard you say 23.5 meters. High water mark to the closest, my surveyor said it's 23.1.
Oh, yes, I do see that there. Yeah, that's my mistake on the,
Oh.
yeah.
Okay, I just heard that, and oh, wait a minute. because
Yep.
That.
Yeah, no, that's
something
important,
that
important
could be
point. Yes, so it is
correct?
actually 23.1 meters is what the
Yeah,
measured distance is.
how does that affect my application?
Well, we can amend the decision. I mean, the committee hasn't ruled on it yet, so we can
Okay.
make that change to it,
Oh,
just so
okay.
it's the most accurate
I was just
information.
wondering, as far as the public goes, it's a different number.
It-
Even though there was no objections, but still, I just want to make sure I don't get a technicality later.
Yes, it's a minor enough change that
Assuming I'm
it,
getting approved. then.
yeah, it wouldn't require a recirculation at this point. No,
Okay, so
Yes.
we're
So you
okay.
have no concerns with that?
no.
Yeah, so we're based on 23.1 and as such, it's 111%. Okay. I'm good with that. Otherwise, I don't have anything else to add, but I'm here to answer your questions from the committee.
Does do the committee members have any questions for either Mr. Kennedy or Sean? Hearing none, could I have a mover to seconder to approve the application? Member Richards, Member McLaren.
So we're moved, it's approved.
Once we read the resolution,
I'm sorry.
Moved by Sabrina Richards, seconded by Fergus McLaren, be it resolved, the Committee of Adjustment hereby grants minor variance application HMV 17 to seek relief from section 4.14.95 of the zoning bylaw to increase the maximum gross floor area permitted from 60% to 111% for the purpose of constructing a 1,044.29 square foot addition. And from table 2 of the zoning bylaw to reduce the minimum setback from the southerly interior side lot line from 3 meters to 2.5 meters for the purpose of constructing a 1,044.29 square foot addition. conditional on confirmation being provided from an Ontario land surveyor that the proposed dwelling is not located closer than 23.1 meters from the high water mark and 2.5 meters from the interior side lot line prior to any clearing, site alteration, or the issuance of a building permit. 2, that any on-site sewage system permits and reviews required by the township have been obtained and approved prior to the issuance of a building permit. And 3, that appropriate construction mitigation measures be implemented, including the erection and maintenance of silt fencing between the proposed building and the shoreline.
All in favor? That's carried.
Great.
Now
Thank
it's
you.
approved.
Now we're approved. Sean, just as I leave, I'm not sure if you got an email of that letter from my surveyor. I'll send it to you again because it's the condition in my.
Yes, yeah, if you could, that I do recall seeing it now, and I do have the site plan that shows the revised
The new
measurement on there
site.
too. Yeah,
I'll just send it to you again to make sure because it is a
Yep.
condition, right? Okay.
great, thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. So there's no further business today other than scheduling our next meeting.
Mhm.
Would that be on the 29th?
I was gonna suggest we push it into December. Just with it being November 1st right now, and then that would be our last meeting of the year. Sorry, I'm just looking at
So that
the,
would be the 6th or the 13th. One or the other.
okay.
I'm sorry, wait.
Would December 13th work?
As far as I know, it works for me, yeah. Fergus?
Currently works for me, yes.
Okay.
The only thing that I'll say is
Okay.
if I'm okay, I'm sure it's good.
Sure.
You'll be fine.
Well, we'll tentatively schedule it for that, and right now I believe I only have 1, possibly 2 applications that would be on it, and I still have to confirm if we can access them should we have snow by then. So, yeah, if
Not in any
anything,
hurry for snow.
yeah, yeah. Well, I'll keep the committee informed though.
Okay, right on. So could I have a motion to adjourn? Member McLaren? Member Richards?
Moved by Fergus McLaren, seconded by Sabrina Richards. Be it resolved, the Committee of Adjustment hereby adjourns its regular meeting at 1:18 p.m.
All in favor? That's carried. Thank you.